morning. Well, as you can see, Dash is a good helper. Dash, here. It was around this time, 2 years ago, that I finally got the call to fetch Dash. After 3 years of waiting, it was time to head to Canine Companions to meet my service dog. Up until that phone call, I had only thought of all the amazing ways that having a service dog could help me. Suddenly, I had apprehensions. As Angela said, I began to wonder if this was a good idea at all. The surprising thought that came into my mind was that having a service dog would be another accessory to add to the long list of things that make me look disabled. Clearly, I use a wheelchair with a height brace. I have a trach. I occasionally use a ventilator or oxygen, and I sometimes wear a brace on my arm. It seems like a lot for people to take in as it is, and adding a dog to this felt like one more thing for people to have to digest when they met me. Of course, I ignored these thoughts. Figuring I had waited this long, I might as well go through with it. I am beyond thankful that I did, and I want to tell you all the reasons why. First, in direct response to that concern, Dash has done the exact opposite of what I feared he would do. He has not added to my disability accessories. He has detracted from them. I first realized this on a trip to Trader Joe's. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Trader Joe's, but here's all you really need to know. It is a grocery store that is always crowded. I vowed never to go on the weekends and only occasionally on weekdays. One day, as Dash and I maneuvered the narrow aisleways, it dawned on me that the children who were there with their parents weren't being hushed for loudly asking why I was in a wheelchair. Instead, they were squealing with glee and shouts of, "Puppy!" Not only has it helped children to see the dog before they see a wheelchair, it has also helped adults to more comfortably approach me. Often, once I've answered a few questions about Dash, people realize that although I'm in a wheelchair, I'm the same as anyone else. Dash has helped to bridge a gap that shouldn't exist anyway, that between me as a disabled woman and the rest of the able-bodied world. Beyond that, Dash has enhanced my independence. Because of my lack of strength, mobility, and agility, I ask those around me for help countless times a day. And from getting dressed in the morning, to cutting food, to something as simple as brushing the hair out of my face, I would be lost without ample assistance. I'm blessed to be surrounded by gracious people who are always happy, or at least willing, to help. But I do try to spread out my requests, and I do try to do for myself what I am able, even if it might be difficult or take a little longer. Now that I have Dash, the amount of things I have to ask others has greatly diminished. Each time I drop my phone or my pen, Dash is right there, happy to pick it up. Well, once he wakes up from his nap. When I am resting in bed and wishing I had turned off the lights, Dash is thrilled to do that for me. If I have too much to carry, well, one of his favorite things is to carry things for me. His head held proudly high. In fact, just last weekend, we had a bit of a paparazzi moment as Dash carried a Gap bag through the strip mall for me. Not only were we surrounded by oohs and ahs, we literally had a lady running alongside us, trying to get a good picture. Dash is now keeping an eye on the Gap bags, certain he'll be their newest model. Anyway, having Dash to help me not only lessens the load for my friends and family, but it also raises my sense of ability and independence. Surprisingly, one place that Dash does the least amount of things for me is at my work. Because the majority of my tasks are done at the computer, Dash knows to settle in and get comfortable upon arrival. On occasion, if he seems restless, my coworker and I will create tasks for him. He now excels at closing the door to the kitchenette and pushing random boxes across the office. But his most important job comes every 2 weeks when he has to carry my time card down the hall. He loves to do it because he knows he'll get special attention from the women in the office down the hall. Honestly, though, the women are the ones that insist upon it. One day I had a lot going on, so I decided to just drop it off myself. The disappointment on their faces was so great that I went back and got Dash so he could properly do the job. The message was clear. I might not get a paycheck if Dash does not deliver it. As much as Dash loves to rest at work, he always is more than happy when our ride shows up. After work, I found 2 of his favorite things. First and foremost, dinner. After that, we take a rest together, snuggled up on my bed. And I'm always amazed that once I get comfortable and give Dash the jump command, he seems to fly through the air, over my legs, and my ventilator tubing that I use while I'm resting, and gracefully land right in his spot. Keep in mind that this is all on a single bed, of which I take up about 2/3. He has never once accidentally landed on me, or the tubing, or even grazed me with his paw. He is always particularly careful with me when I'm out of my chair, as he somehow senses that I don't have the best balance without support. Another thing that has mystified me is Dash's ability to hear me over a crowd of people. I actually didn't realize that this was the case until a good friend of mine pointed it out to me. We were attending a retirement party together, and Dash was resting under the table as we ate. After the meal, I asked my friend to rouse Dash so we could go socialize a bit. And he will hear you, she insisted. Sure enough, as soon as I called his name, his head popped out from under the tablecloth. But between my general soft-spoken and my inability to project very much, it is hard for most people to hear me over much noise. But 9 times out of 10, Dash hears and responds appropriately to what I say to him, regardless of the surroundings. When I realized that my friend saw that quality in Dash before I was able to, I decided to ask my family members what they saw as Dash's best qualities. Individually, my mom, dad, and sister all responded that knowing I always have Dash with me gives them peace of mind. I'm very comfortable having the house to myself for a few hours, but there have been times in the past where I dropped my cell phone, or, heaven forbid, the TV remote. Dropping the remote is one thing, but my cell phone is my lifeline. Without it, I'm unable to call for help if necessary. Now that I have Dash around, these things are no longer a concern for my family. Another way that Dash has impacted our family is through the speak command. There have been times that I've called for assistance, but my mom or dad are in a part of the house where they cannot hear me. Enter Dash with his deep, resonant bark, able to be heard down in the basement or even outside if the window is closed. I'm always amazed, too, that once Dash hears the footsteps approaching, he knows his job was done successfully. He stops barking and waits eagerly along with me. As you can see, I could go on for quite some time about all the ways that Dash has had a profound impact on my life. Independence, confidence, joy, hope, determination, security, a heightened sense of ability, these are all wrapped up in this 4-legged helper. But I haven't just gained these things. I've also gained a new family, my CCI family. Shortly after I got Dash, we got involved with the Northern Ohio Volunteer Group for Canine Companions. Through the group, we have met amazing puppy raisers and other graduates, all with a passion for seeing these dogs be placed with those who need them. I never expected to feel as strongly as I do about an organization, but once Dash revealed the power of a service dog to me, I am eager to do whatever I can to raise awareness about Canine Companions. Not only has my own life been changed, I have seen firsthand these dogs change the lives of other adults, children, of veterans, and the lives of countless people through facility dogs. Looking back, knowing what I know now, I feel silly that I ever had concerns about getting a service dog. I can honestly say it was the best decision I have ever made. I am so grateful and honored to have Dash in my life. Thank you.
Emily, thank you. And thank you, Dash, too.